Oh my God.
In return, Mr.
Oh.
Your mic is not on.
My
Where is my Bobby Ricky and Mike when you need them?
Yo, what's up with Ruben, Carlton, and Jay? What's going on, man?
We can't.
We can't be new edition.
No,
You're right. Cause we the older edition.
no.
You know what's going on.
over there looking
No.
like Millie Jackson. You want to talk?
I love my afro.
I mean,
I love it. I love
your
it.
afro.
Millie Jackson.
the Millie
Jackson reference.
Power to the people.
Oh, she remember the Black Panther party now. What's going on?
I know.
That's right.
Show us your
That's
fit.
right.
Big J, you said you had something controversial for
Man,
us.
let's talk about something that's really interesting to me.
Uh-oh.
Being that I'm a historically
Keep it clean.
educated.
Keep it clean.
Historically.
Yeah, just keep it clean.
Educated.
Oh,
Historically.
You
I don't know how
were
how that-
educated historically?
Yeah, I'm an educated historically. I found some real interesting troving on the internet one day.
Troving.
That's a Words with Friends challenge for you right
Does
now.
that work?
It is. That works.
I don't know.
I have 4 games going that I left.
But you got hit with a 64 something
Words
point
with
the other day,
Friends,
right?
You play that? I don't play that. But I
Where's
see
the
it
friends
on-
hot?
I see it on my Facebook like 24/7.
I be beating counter banks up all the time.
Man, you won one game.
What do y'all do during the day?
I mean, you know, I play Words with Friends. What do you think I do? I get paid to play Words with Friends.
No, I found something real interesting the other day. I was looking at, I mean, being a history buff, 150 years ago in this town, we still is what? I'll pass it around.
What?
100. You from Virginia?
Yeah.
150 years. What was happening in Richmond, Virginia? 150 years. Do the quick
That makes
math.
me do the math.
It wasn't the Civil War.
There you go.
Yeah.
Civil War.
Yeah.
150 years?
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, because
South Carolina.
1864. Yeah.
150 years.
Yeah.
1860.
It'll be
Okay.
1862.
1861 to 1864,
Okay,
something
gotcha.
like that. Yeah.
In the house.
Yeah. Richmond was
The capital of the
capital of the
Confederacy.
Confederacy, and
Right.
we housed a whole bunch of prisons for the Confederacy.
Right.
Where we
Mhm.
captured
Right.
the Union soldiers, and they stuck them what we would now know as Shockoe Bottom.
Right.
You know, and on the corner of what a Holocaust Museum is. The
Right.
Holocaust-
Right.
There
Yeah.
used to be the Libby prison.
Libby Prison.
All right.
Mhm.
And then if you go up the street on 18th Street between
Near
Main
Dock?
and Cary. No, between Main and Cary. What
Okay.
Where the club's at?
the club is called what? Now, Flood Zone
Flood Zone.
used to be Flood Zone. Have a
Have a nice day.
They also used to be a prison. I did not know that until I looked it up. And you could see the same.
It looks like it.
Right. It just astounds me that 150 years ago, we probably, as black folk, couldn't be seen anyway. I mean, unless we were doing slave work, you know. But yet, still now we downtown partying it up, shooting brothers left and right,
Robbing people.
robbing people. I went downtown this summer doing a lot of stand-up gigs, and I was almost afraid. Now, some people say, Jay, you might be a punk, because I don't carry no piece on me. I ain't got no concealed license or whatever. But maybe because I'm getting older, and I used to do the clubbing thing when I was young and go downtown or whatever. But it scares me, some of these young kids that's out here. And it doesn't
No
matter.
fear.
You know,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what background, race you are. They just wilding, you know. And there's more of a police presence down there. Just anytime you see a gang of police and a gang of kids out partying,
It's a problem.
you know,
Yeah.
something's gonna happen wrong.
But see, you know what, Jay, and again, you and I speaking from Richmond.
Right.
What is it for kids to do nowadays, man? I mean,
Nothing.
literally, you know what we had? I mean, not to
Nothing.
cut you off, April. We had Station Break, but that was one spot. You used to be able to go to the park on a Sunday afternoon and have all kinds of great fun. Great, clean fun. There may have been some weed smoking and some drug dealing done, but there was no fights that I can remember. Nobody getting shot
we
up.
just looking at the girls.
Yeah, just hanging out and cleaning cars.
I mean, I think it's the times you got internet, video games. You know, even my kids nowadays, the friends when they're not outside playing in the summertime, they communicate on the internet. They just bums. You know, you don't get outside and do anything. You just standing there, sitting on a Facebook or whatever, talking about. So I just thought that was an interesting fact. I might thought that was Jay's historical fact. Have a Nice Day Cafe. It used to be
It's a prison.
Is a prison.
Literally.
An old Confederate prison that didn't burn when they burnt Richmond. I'm glad they burnt Richmond, by the way.
I mean,
If not, we would still want to pick a cotton.
You wanted a new city, Jay? You wanted a new city.
Well, if they didn't burn Richmond, I mean, it would still be a Confederate. If Richmond didn't fall, it would still be a Confederacy.
well, we wouldn't be here if that happened.
Well, we wouldn't be here, and we'd probably still be
And we wouldn't be on the air.
That's true. That'd be sad.
And we wouldn't know each other probably, because I wouldn't have a car to get to Richmond.
I could not have been a slave. I'd have been a dead slave. No doubt. I'd have been a dead slave. But that's me speaking, 150 years in the future. Back then, I mean, I probably would have been, whipped into saying yes, sir, master.
Toby.
Into Toby. Yeah.
I'd have been that. That was
Speaking of which.
Oh, and now just to parlay that to today. You got these Republicans out here that's running. You got a Mitt, you got a Newt, you got a Santorum, and you got a black president. Pay attention, any listeners out here. All this, the Republicans use, and I'm not advocating any party, but they use a lot of, what's the word I want?
Code words.
Code words.
They will use code words.
Hold on. Newt Gingrich is out here calling Barack Obama the food stamp president. And if it wasn't for some of the liberal radio media stations or whatever calling them out on this, you can't get away calling a president a food stamp president.
Yeah.
When under George Bush and under all presidents, for the simple fact that the economy has gone down, you can say the same thing for George Bush, but you ain't see nobody, whether it was an Al Sharpton or anybody that was representing a minority group, say George Bush was a food stamp president. Yeah, we called him a dumb president because it was true.
That's true.
Dumb.
Yeah, I mean, he was a C average, man.
So pay attention this election cycle to what the Republicans are doing. Pay attention to what the Democrats are doing, because it just came out today that Barack and the Democratic Party are now taking super PAC money, which means that ads can be ran in favor of Barack Obama, but it doesn't necessarily be affiliated with Barack Obama. And that has everything to do with the Supreme Court law that was passed that said corporate money now can be poured into some of these campaigns, into any campaign for that fact. So you got to weed through all this innuendo and all this commercials that's saying that this guy's bad, and just look up the facts for yourself. Vote your wallet, honestly. That's my opinion. Vote your wallet.
What do you mean vote your wallet?
A lot of people vote against their interests, and I'm gonna sit here and say as a disclaimer, and I think I already said that the views expressed by Jay Grizzy is not that of Aint No Half Steppin with Marcus J. Global.
No Lord.
Radio. I support Barack Obama. What I don't get about the right and the Republicans is that they sit here and say that this is a welfare state. People are dependent on the government. The government should not be in all aspects of our lives, but when it comes to voting, and I live in a district where Eric Cantor is the U.S. representative for that district, which is mainly a white district. Y'all know when they split up, when they did redistricting after the first Bush got into office, they split Richmond two halves. That's how you got Bobby Scott to be representative for Tidewater all the way up to the black parts of Richmond.
Yeah.
They gerrymandered, and if you live in the suburbs, you got Eric Cantor.
Did you hear? I think it was Monday. The General Assembly, the Senate passed a new law for if you are getting welfare that you have to do a drug test.
I totally agree.
I completely agree.
Why? Because of the simple fact, I don't want you to use that money to do something.
You can't control it.
You're right. I can't control it, but I don't want to know that if the possibility of that money that I've worked hard to put into my taxes, to go find out you're using it straight for drugs. Okay. You're not using it for what you can use for a need, not a want, a need.
I'm gonna take a libertarian point of view.
Oh yeah, you.
I don't want my money funding.
I don't want it funding drugs.
$20 billion planes to go kill, not terrorists, because I want them to kill terrorists, but I don't want them killing innocent people, because if you get a predator drone strike in Pakistan, for instance, and it's meant to kill, the bad guys, but you get collateral damage.
Yeah.
You got a kid, that
playing soccer
or something, and he catches shrapnel in his, head and dies or whatever. I don't want my tax money to go. So you can't. I disagree with what the General Assembly is passing. You can't legislate behavior. I mean, that's one of the things that the Republicans always. You can't legislate behavior. Look at prohibition. You can't legislate that.
Well, on top of that, also, I watched Oprah special. Don't hurt me. I watched the Oprah special when I believe it was Idaho. People were because of lack of jobs and whatever, and they had a nice house, but they couldn't afford to pay their house note and pay food. You know, so what the state did, they gave him a card, and it's like credit card, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
However, they could only use at certain places.
Right.
You know, so it's not like, I guess, like an EBT card,
Right.
but I'm very unfamiliar with the EBT card. But you know, they're allowed to have certain things such as a big house, stuff like that. And then on top of that, Oprah had another special. God,
You love Oprah.
I really don't.
Oprah!
I really can't stand her.
He has been on.
Who is his man?
I can't stand her.
Yeah, we're gonna
Not-
check his man card at
Yeah,
the
whatever.
show, ladies and gentlemen.
Trust me, it wasn't me watching it. But the last thing is, they did a special on Roots, and they were saying how, you know, I guess Sandy Duncan, which I didn't know who was in Roots. It's been forever since I seen Sandy Duncan. And if you don't know who Sandy Duncan is, but you old enough, she was in the Partridge Family.
Was you?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, blonde hair, short blonde hair, you know, Caucasian. And she was in Roots. She was one of the kids. She was one of the kids who was, you know, befriending the slave kids. But I guess I can't remember exactly what happened. But she like did something in the movie,
Right.
and the whole cast like shunned her for like a day because it was just so emotional. They were just like
This on Oprah.
well, yeah, because they talked to the people from Roots, you know, like
Oh, yeah.
20 years ago.
Right. I saw that episode.
Yeah, so it was like, wow, you just shunned somebody who did a movie, but they felt something about it, they couldn't like talk to her. But you know, I don't like Oprah personally, but I just felt like those two things were interesting enough
Well,
to
it's a
watch.
pocketbook, folks. I mean, for if the Republicans in this election cycle, they're. Oh, we're going to talk about my rant now?
Yeah, no, keep going.
Okay, this election cycle, they're going to try to frame the argument as the haves and the have-nots, you know, and it's obvious that that's the way it is. Look at the facts, make a decision, and vote.